Tenpenny Tower is morally impossible. I guess this does make sense. If you're a Redditor, morality truly does become impossible. I'm looking forward to see how honestly bad this is. And I say bad, but the boys, remember, I always try to be impartial and as objective as I can be. So I'm expecting great things.
Behind me is Tenpenny Tower, home to one of the most morally ambiguous quests in all of Fallout 3. And I wanted to walk you through it today because
If you do not know what Tenpenny Tower is all about, it's not morally ambiguous at all, honestly. It's like this. You have a group of people who are living in a place, and then there comes an outsider who wants to get in there for free because he feels like he deserves it. He refuses to make his own life better. He just wants to get in for free in a place that looks good to him, and they say no. After that, he starts threatening them, and then he gets you to gaslight the people in the tower to woe them into allowing him and his people in, and then he just, in one day, murders everyone in there who wasn't his people. I don't honestly think it's that complicated.
I've been thinking about it since the first time I played through it. This is Roy Phillips, an ex-cop turned ghoul who lives out of the subway station not too far away from Tenpenny Tower. So Roy's whole deal is that he wants to live in Tenpenny Tower alongside of the rest of the humans, unlike in the subway station like literal rats do, which is honestly totally fair. This place is massive, and there's gotta be a bunch.
What's stopping Roy and the ghouls from actually, freshening up the subway station and making it not rat infested? Well, nothing. Nothing. That's right, nothing. Also, this is already a very bad representation of what what the conversation and situation looks like.
Bunch of empty floors, so why wouldn't we let Roy stay here? Roy walks away from the intercom, and you're basically next up, and you get let in with literally no issues. Once you get up to the front desk, you talk to the guard there, and he tells you that they want to get rid of Roy. And they want to get rid of Roy because they don't want to deal with ghouls, and they don't want to see what Roy has up his sleeves if they don't. And that's where you as a player.
Yes, by the way. At least he didn't omit this part. Roy does threaten them. So, you need to feel bad that they did not let in the person who threatened them violently. Very cool.
Get to make a choice. Hooray! There are like 3 basic options that you can kind of choose in this quest to more or less decide the outcome. And I'm going to walk you through all of those options right here. So the first option, and the one Gustavo the guard is paying you for, is the most straightforward. You head down into the subway station and you find Michael Masters, and he tells you to put your gun down, and you can choose right then and there whether or not you want to start the fight. But if you hold off, he'll take you straight to Roy. Once you're there, you kill Roy, you kill his ghoul friend Bessie. That's in the wiki. It's in the wiki. Don't get all up and get out of my face. It's in the wiki. Look. You see what I mean?
Yeah, this is extremely Reddit.
So you kill Roy, you kill Bessie, and then you kill Michael. Michael, is that his name? Yes. Once you kill all of them, you walk back into Tenpenny Tower, you tell Gustavo you've done the job, then you get your caps, and you're on your merry way. All positive karma, hooray, yippee, woohoo. You get caps, you get a gun.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, we're 2 minutes in, and at this point, this video is lower quality than my React videos are. There is less effort, clearly, there's just a green screen and pretending to sit on a bunch of things. Okay? He couldn't even do the thing where he's behind the railing like anyone else with a green screen would try. And the energy, there's just no energy in this video. He's deader than the ghouls.
And Tenpenny gets to stay up in his ivory tower and keep shooting at innocent wastelanders for fun. Alistair Tenpenny, owner and operator of Tenpenny Tower, goes on what he calls a wasteland safari, and by that, he means literally shooting at people from his tower with a sniper rifle and injuring or killing whoever he wants to. So when you complete this,
Okay. So okay. I get it. This is what it's gonna be like, okay? Since Tenpenny does evil things, keep in mind that modern day leftist slash predator slash whatever is incapable of dealing with a situation where someone can be evil, for example, a murderer, but they can actually make a good point in something. They have to have that evil people are always wrong in everything that they say. The one of that and that is one of the most interesting concepts about modern day people like this, that if you do something evil, everything you say is automatically wrong and bad, and there is no way around this, which makes an interesting problem, obviously. And here we have Tenpenny, and since he's evil, he shoots random people and whatnot, which, by the way, is obviously evil. No one's even gonna try and argue that. But the fact that Tenpenny is kind of inherently evil doesn't mean that not letting the ghouls in is actually an evil choice. Because you can actually get him to do it, and all that requires is you convincing the residents of the tower to let them in, and then he's fine with doing it. Which is kind of crazy.
option, really all you did was kill people who were looking for a new home and continue to let an old man get away with murder for sport. That's the positive option, by the way. That's all positive karma, baby. But that's not the only way that you deal with this quest. Hey, question for you. Do you know what Tenpenny Tower and the American healthcare system have in common? They both make you feel like you have to schmooze a guy to get through the front door. Well, not anymore.
Ad.
The same way. You head into the tower, you talk to Gustavo, and then you head into the subway tunnels to meet Masters. Again, he'll take you to Roy, and then when you meet Roy, you get to actually have a conversation with him this time. And Roy tells you that obviously they don't want him in the tower, so he's devised a plan to kill everybody inside of the tower, and you're
Yes, because obviously, when someone says no to you, the best answer is violent. Yeah.
like, oh, hey, Roy, whoa, chill. Oh, chill. Oh, going on. What are you doing here? You tell Roy that there's probably a better option, and you're going to figure it out for him because you want him in the tower because there's more than enough room. There's more than enough room inside of the tower for it.
Slightly leaning on the communist love of, oh, everyone who's poor is just poor because of capitalism, not because shitty life choices. Oh, what a wake-up call that always is.
Everybody. Once you get back to the tower, you head up the elevator, you convince the guard that you're supposed to meet Tenpenny, and that was really easy for me for some reason. So anyway, you go in and you talk to him, and he's like, well, if you could convince all the people that live here. Here's one thing I didn't know about this quest when I first started it, is you don't have to talk to everybody. He does say, here's a list of 5 people, and I skipped that dialogue so quick. I did not care about listening to Tenpenny yet, so I said,
I mean, very, very clearly not biased at all. And also, that is not that much dialogue. He could have actually already, probably 3 times over, given us actual snippets of the real dialogue. Interesting.
you know what? I'm just going to get through it, and I'll just talk to everybody. And I went and I talked to every single person. And a lot of them didn't require speech checks. And I was like, this is easy. And then the ones that did, I was like, I failed every one of them. And I was like, well, what am I supposed to do now? So he tells you you have to convince Anthony, Lydia, Susan, Edgar, and Mickey Wellington to either accept the fact that ghouls are going to live here or to find a new place to live. And that's all well and good. You can go through and you can do all the speech.
That's all well and good. The ghouls wanted to live in, didn't allow it, that's bad. Now the ghouls are coming in, and well, your choice is either to accept it or be pushed out. That's all fine. Like, see how there's, by the way, no hesitation there? Because morality stops at the first sign of problems. Very, very interesting.
Checks and pass all the speech checks. Hooray, yippee, woohoo. But there are other options. More sinister options. And to be honest, more just interesting. More interesting ones. You could go through and kill every single one of them in their sleep if you needed to. You pop in, pop them one quiet one, and then you leave. And that's just something the game lets you do, which is why I like Fallout so much. A couple of these guys own shops in the tower, and you can steal from them and frame them for their own thievery, which is like crazy. And then they just leave the tower because like they can't prove that they didn't do it. Susan, Edgar, and Mickey, however, need to be dealt with in a...
We're just gonna make a smug face on the guilty until proven innocent? Okay. Wow.
slightly different way. Edgar has left a love letter for Susan on his desk, like a total fool. And here's the thing. Edgar's handwriting is very obvious to Mickey, and all you have to do is snag the love letter, give it to Mickey, she reads it, loses her fucking mind, which is totally fair, and then she kills Susan.
Please say that's also totally fair.
She kills Edgar, and then she leaves the tower. So you've convinced 3 people to leave the tower. And
I mean, to be honest, you didn't convince. No, wait, did you? Whatever. You killed a bunch of people. I mean, average woman behavior.
2 people are dead. And you don't have to pass any speech checks, and arguably it's one of the more fun routes in this entire quest. It's definitely one of the more interesting. And then boom, you just tell Tenpenny that everything's solved, and he's like, yeah, absolutely, let him in. You go down into the subway and you let Roy know, hey, I solved your problem. And he...
So, how does he deal with the morality that he has already considered Tenpenny evil, or the fact that he doesn't let ghouls in because of inherent bias, which is completely not justified, obviously, and he shoots people for fun with his sniper rifle from the tower. But now he lets in the people, so is Tenpenny evil? And I really want an explanation, because again, there's no such thing as you can be evil but still do something right or have a right opinion on something. It's just you always need to be always evil. So what would be the contextualization here? Because again, the mind has already been said that Tenpenny is evil.
is so grateful, so happy. All the ghouls move into the Tenpenny Tower, and life is good, real good. I wake up every morning next to the ghouls. I have soup. And, you know, life is great for a little while. And you leave Tenpenny Tower thinking, gosh, I really did a good thing. I did a good deed here, minus the killing. But, and of course there's a but, when you first head back to Tenpenny Tower, you find Roy, and you kind of notice, if you go up to the top suites, oh, Tenpenny ain't here. Which is like, what are we doing? But Roy and Tenpenny had a disagreement, an argument, basically the second that Roy walked in, apparently. And Roy...
Yeah, I mean, a little disagreement, eh?
chucked him off the balcony, I think. None of the bodies showed up when I did this last. So I think Tenpenny just... Sorry. But, like, it's what... And he said, you know, me and Tenpenny had a disagreement, and I fixed it. And I said, you know what? That's incredibly fair. This guy shoots people off of his balcony for sport, and he's kind of an asshole. I'm going to let this one slide. But if you wait a week and then you come...
I mean, I'm not gonna question anything here, but okay.
back to Tenpenny Tower, you've noticed that it's kind of empty in here. There are no non-ghoul residents aside from the bartender, this bartender here, who is a robot. So, all right, we got to find Roy again because what's going on? Roy lets you know that they had it coming and that they're all in the basement and that every single one of them is dead. Michael Masters
Interesting.
says something along the lines of,
Are we not gonna call that evil? Are we not gonna even, Say killing bad?
Hey, thank God I don't have a sense of smell anymore. Because of all the rotting corpses in the basement. So when you go down there, every human resident of Tenpenny Tower is dead on the ground, and a feral ghoul is just kind of picking over the body parts. You go back to Roy, you tell him, hey man, what the fuck are we doing here? And Roy tells you that they had it coming, and that you should probably leave before he does the same thing to you.
I mean, you understand the fact that Roy then threatens you who allowed this to happen. You are technically on his side. He threatens you just because you're a smooth skin. Kind of makes him way more blatantly evil and racist than Tenpenny ever could be.
You do all that work, you do everything right, and all those people still end up dead. Option 3 is a bit nuclear. Nuclear? I don't know. My president has ruined the pronunciation of that. You go down and you talk to Roy, and...
Well, I was actually wondering to myself, is this going to be a video with 1, 2, 3, maybe somehow 0 Trump references? But there we go. At least one. And we have 9 more minutes to get another one in, boys.
Roy convinces you that these racists kind of deserve...
Honestly, I have to say, I actually thought that this is going to have way more Trump references.
it. And you know what? Who am I to say different? Time to help Roy. There is a door in the basement of Tenpenny Tower that leads straight to the subway from the generator room. If you break into the basement from the outside and you go to the terminal and you put in the right phrase, you are able to unlock the big door to Tenpenny Tower. And Roy...
But, by the way, who honestly would think here, unironically, that helping the ghouls is not a good option, considering the ghouls are literally like, let us in and we're gonna kill all of them. Like, who honestly thinks helping the ghouls is the good one? That's called Minecraft empathy.
Will be there waiting for you to unlock it with a load of feral ghouls, and Roy tells you to meet me out front. In meeting Roy out front, he tells you that the feral ghouls will just eat you too. So he gives you the ghoul mask. And this is as far as I know, the only way to receive the ghoul mask in the entire game.
Yes.
Which is an extremely, overpowered item, to be frank. There's a lot of places in the game that have the ghouls, and that you don't have to deal with them or fight them when you're wearing this mask is kind of sick. But Roy gives you that mask so you can head into the tower and also deal some damage. And this one is the worst. In terms of the most violent outcome to this quest. The generator cuts power to Tenpenny Tower, and in the darkness, all you see is gunfire, the feral ghouls running around ripping people apart, and you can choose to just hang out and watch, or participate, or leave. But no matter what, every single resident of Tenpenny Tower gets slaughtered by these ferals, and that doesn't particularly feel great either. So Bethesda obviously designed this quest with no...
I love just the way he speaks. That also doesn't feel exactly great either. So this is the better option because you see, Tenpenny is a racist and bad person, but Roy, who so far has literally only endorsed violence, he has not only endorsed violence, but in general, Roy is kind of arguably more violent in his ways than Tenpenny kind of is. Again, arguable. They're not gonna argue with that, but Roy's not a great person. Understand that. And he's like, nope. Roy's 100% better.
Good way to go about things. The lead designer said that he based Tenpenny Tower off of the wealthy-only hotel in Land of the Dead. The design of the quest is that there is no right answer. Everything is kind of just supposed to be bad. Before I really get to the no good ending thing, I should talk about what this quest really kind of is. And
Oh
obviously,
boy.
I don't think it's super subtle, right? But that's just me. Ghouls in Fallout are people. And I think that's a fact that some people just forget.
Do you think he also means the feral ones? Do you calling them people, like, how far do you think that sentence reaches? People as in they were people, they technically are, but now they're feral, or they are equally people?
About because of the way they look, but they are. They're people who got hit with such a crazy amount of radiation that their bodies just fell apart on them. Obviously, their minds are still there. They're still the same person that they were before they looked like this, but now they look like this. And despite being given such a bad hand from the nuclear blast, they're treated like trash. They get called zombies. They're told that they're
Well, no shit.
not really people anymore, and they get shut out of just about everywhere. There's like legitimately one or two places that ghouls
Right, absolutely based, okay? Considering how they're supposed to look and smell, yeah, based.
can actually live in the entirety of the Capital Wasteland. Roy isn't some random raider. He's just a guy who shows up and gets told that there's no room in this building for people who look like him. He had the caps to pay his way, and he got turned away regardless. And that's because it wasn't because of the caps, it was because of what he looked like. And I think the most obvious read for that, as far as metaphor goes, is race. I think that's the most obvious way you could go about it. Housing discrimination, slurs, segregation, like that's all there. But there's an entire other layer that's about body. About being someone whose body stopped working the way it's supposed to and gets treated like less of a person because of it. These are people who are in chronic pain, have lost senses, have been completely disfigured through no fault of their own, and the world looks at them and decides that they are
Yeah, sometimes the world sucks. You got dealt a bad hand, but that doesn't mean everyone needs to stop and now sacrifice their lives for you.
disgusting, and that's the end of the story. Michael Masters makes a joke about how he can't smell anymore and how that's a good thing for him in this particular situation. But really, that's a guy who has actively lost one of his senses and is doing his best to make dark humor out of it to cope. Now, Bessie, Roy's ghoul friend, you remember her. We talked about her very briefly. She's actually very sweet lady. If you actually talk to her, she talks about how she used to be pretty and all the boys used to come around and how she just wants to feel normal again. These people are not.
You're taking a goal and making it into a thing, an object of. Classic.
Not monsters. These are people who got dealt the absolute worst hand in this entire apocalypse and are just trying to find a place
Well, they're technically alive.
to sleep and somebody to love. Obviously, the discrimination is wrong.
Also, that is incredibly fucking romanticizing their situation.
But also, obviously, Roy is either going to march everybody into the basement and kill them or unleash an entire flock of ghouls the second he gets the chance. Roy can both be completely right about how he's been treated and also completely wrong in the way that he chooses to deal with it. And obviously, I'm not letting the bigots off the hook. Tenpenny is a guy who literally just shoots at people for fun off the top of his balcony.
Shooting people for fun doesn't make you a bigot. That just makes you a bad person.
And he's a piece of shit and he should die. But I think this has
Again, you literally just categorize Tenpenny the same as Roy, but again, slightly better, because Tenpenny can be convinced to let the ghouls in, which means Tenpenny technically has redemption. Roy just is waiting to kill everyone. And somehow, again, Roy comes out on top as the better person here.
broad strokes of saying, you treat people like they're evil or that they're an animal long enough that you shouldn't be surprised when this person acts a certain way.
Yep, this is literally Reddit tier logic. Oh, it's your fault. The bad people who like doing and causing pain to others are bad people because you treat them poorly. Oh boy. Yeah, this is literally suicidal empathy, huh?
or does a certain thing. So much for the tolerant left. I think that's the cool thing about
Yeah.
Tenpenny Tower as a quest. The fact that there is no right answer. Obviously, it's not that the designers went, just whatever. And they weren't lazy about it.
Okay, there is a right answer. We all know the right answer is just mow down the ghouls. You have a place where everyone's living and it's fine. You have a group of people who want to come in for some reason, demand that they get let in, and you say no because like why you can't demand that. This is my stuff. Get out. And then their solution to that is try and murder you. One side is just living their lives. The other side is demanding things because they feel entitled to it, and then murdering you. I mean, it's really hard for me to figure out which side is the insane one here. Honestly, maybe one side, maybe the side that's on Tenpenny Tower is not, the most nice. Maybe they have their shortcomings, sure, but but they're not exactly murderers. They want to kill Roy in the first place because he literally threatens them.
Clearly, this has a lot of depth and nuance to it. I think the most important part to take away from Tenpenny Tower is the fact that the wasteland kind of gets treated as set dressing a lot of the time, and
I mean, yes, it literally is set dressing. I don't know what to tell you.
typically in Fallout, you could do your absolute best and try your absolute hardest and get things done the right way, and things will work out. People have a problem, you solve the problem, everybody's happy, you get caps, and you go about your way. That's how Fallout typically works. Hooray, yippee, woohoo. No, that is not how a wasteland would work. That is not how an apocalypse, a post-apocalypse situation would work. Everybody, I sincerely feel this way, that every single person in a post-apocalypse is going to be evil. Everybody. Doesn't matter who you are, where you came
Wait, he's actually right about that one.
from, you're going to be a little bit evil. Because realistically, there are more evil people than there are not, and you have to survive the apocalypse, so you're going to do what you absolutely can.
Okay, now I'm not sure if he understands why everyone would kill each other in the post-apocalypse at the start, at least. Because that would be the way to survive. What he just said 3 seconds ago makes me question: does he understand that, or is there something else?
To make sure that you stay alive. So, yes, typically everything's happy, super yippee woohoo all the time.
Okay, I think that's it, right?
You do with every other quest in the game.
Yeah. And then now we're just morally pandering. Anyway, that was Devin in HD. Was not a lot of HD, but that was Devin, boys. What do you think about the morality or whatever? Honestly, yeah, very interesting. Very, very questionable. Man, I need to get in on these Reddit and lefty opinions and tourist opinions about Fallout because they're great. Honestly, like you have such an easy situation. It's not perfect, the solution, obviously, but you have such an easy situation to tell who's a little bit more in the right here. But no, impossible. Impossible. In any case, 10 out of 10. Thanks for watching. Bye.